An elegant and dignified lady came to a flower shop in Washington. The owner of the flower shop immediately recognized that she was the current First Lady. She said with envy that you are so lucky to be married to the president. After hearing this, Madam smiled slightly and said, I will marry you. And you will also be the president. This confident lady is none other than Michelle Obama, wife of former U.S. President Obama. In fact, Michelle's self-confidence is not innate. Unlike other first ladies who have superior backgrounds, Michelle's grandfather was an African slave. During the Great Migration to the United States that began in 1940, he seized the opportunity to go north to Chicago. Originally, my grandfather wanted to find a job and go to college. But after he came here, he discovered that not only was it very difficult to find a job, but even his black race was looked down upon. Grandpa, who had never gotten rid of his lower-class status throughout his life, died in depression. Michelle's father is a plumber and her mother works as a secretary at school. Michelle and an older brother live in a family of 4 in the slums of the south side of Chicago, USA, and they share their house with relatives. The housing conditions here are poor and the security management is lax and they move around. More and more people started moving. At first, white families gradually moved away. This is enough to show the poor living environment. Once, Michelle and her family went to a friend's house as guests. When I came home at night, I found that the car had been scratched with a long scratch. Because the neighbors don't like black people. In addition to the dislike of the neighbors. Even the police hate black people like them. Once, Michelle's brother bought a brand new bicycle and rode along the lake. He was arrested by a policeman for theft. Reason it's about not believing that a black boy can get a brand new bicycle through legitimate means. Ironically, the police officer himself is African American. Michelle was able to grow up to be the First Lady of the United States in such an environment. And her parents' good family education and living atmosphere were indispensable. Life is cruel. But optimism and love can nourish a child's heart. In order to save education costs, Rochelle's mother made crosscards by hand and taught her 2 children how to read. When not busy, the family would also drive around Chicago neighborhoods. The children were watching the scenery in the back seat while listening to their father telling interesting things at work. Gradually, the brother and sister began to become interested in family finances as they grew up. They ran to the kitchen and asked their father if our family was rich. His father was also very honest and said that he had a share. A stable job can earn you $1,000 per month. The brother and sister were very happy and felt that their family was very rich. But when their father took out various bills and explained various spending plans, they found that they only had 20 yuan left. The 2 children had always understood that the family was not actually wealthy. This left a deep impression on them. From then on, the 2 children began to study hard. If all other paths failed, then rely on knowledge to change their destiny. Michelle, who was talented and hardworking, was admitted to the best school in Chicago with excellent results. High school admission. When he was a freshman in high school, he taught himself the second-year courses and skipped directly to senior high school. After graduating from high school, Michelle applied to Princeton University because her mother once told him that black people like us can only have a way out by going to Princeton. But it is not easy to go to Princeton. Seeing his skin color, Princeton's application consultant said, I'm not sure if you are the material. This is like a wake-up call. It turns out that even an institution of higher learning like Princeton still has such blatant racial discrimination. Frustration and prejudice did not make Michelle lose confidence. He spent several months writing a long application letter and sent it to Princeton. In the end, the school was impressed by his excellence and persistence. And he successfully entered the Princeton campus. After his Princeton career ended the following year, he entered Harvard Law School for further study. Michelle spent all her time studying at Harvard. One of the few entertainment activities is watching TV series with friends. The content of the TV series is mostly about black people in elite society. In the meantime, he took a job on campus to pay for his academic loans. After graduating in 1988, he entered Chicago's most famous law firm, Shinda Law Firm. He became the only black employee in the firm. It only took him 1 year to be promoted from associate attorney to head of consulting. During this year, the second black employee came to the firm as an intern. He was led by Michelle. At that time, Michelle, who was her direct boss, would not know that the handsome, sunny young man with the same skin color as herself would not only become her husband in the future, but also become the first black president in the history of the United States. He was Obama. They were the only 2 black men in the office. They were in similar situations and had the same life ideals. Coupled with their working relationship, the 2 got closer and closer. Gradually, they fell in love with each other. But Michelle always refused to go out alone with Obama because she was Obama's leader. Obama even resigned from his law firm to pursue Michelle. Michelle was finally moved by his sincerity. And the 2 got married in 1992. Even if they love each other deeply, they still have not escaped the marital crisis. After getting married, Michelle gave birth to 2 children one after another. In order to take care of the children, Michelle changed from a working woman to a housewife. At this time, Obama, who started to enter politics, went home less and less often. Michelle waited for Obama to come home and have dinner with him every night. But I waited and still couldn't see anyone. When I called him, he replied that he would be home soon. But in fact, he said that he would be home soon. The 2 children often went to bed while waiting. Her husband's frequent absence at home made Michelle feel angry and aggrieved. When Obama came home, he was already asleep. The house was dark. He hopes Obama will not enter politics and spend more time with his family. Obama, who likes politics and has great ambitions. Even though he was troubled because he could not take care of his family, he still did not want to give up his career. The 2 were at a stalemate. Michelle, who was desperate, even thought about divorce. But he was used to perseverance and was not defeated by the impulse of the moment. Now that your marriage is in crisis, try to find a way to solve it just like before. He took Obama to marriage counseling, hoping he would make changes. Michelle felt that his request was reasonable and everyone would be on his side. Unexpectedly, the counselor said that Michelle himself also needed to change. Under the guidance of a psychiatrist, Michelle realized that instead of blaming her husband for not exercising, she should go to the gym herself. Instead of worrying about whether her husband could come home on time, she should set her own rules. He no longer stares at Obama, but lives according to the original rhythm. Dinner time is 6:30 p.m. every day, and he goes to bed at 7 a.m. and lights out at 8 a.m. This routine is immutable and cannot be changed by anyone. If Obama wants to catch up, he has to find a way on his own, otherwise he will have to miss out. This approach will have immediate results. Although Obama still often cannot rush home, his and his daughter's lives are in order. Not too much. Influence each other and no longer have any resentment. In this way, Michelle taught her daughters that life does not start when a man comes home. Being yourself is the best way to live. Michelle once said in front of the media that if she viewed marriage as a basketball team, she would want to choose strong teammates instead of someone who is controlled by you and can only dribble and not shoot or defend. Only in this way can she win the game. Such a unique insights that explain why the pair's lives prospered after. After his family life got back on track, Obama's career gradually took off. 2008 University Obama becomes the first African-American president of the United States. In his journey to the presidency, one thing that cannot be ignored is Michelle's contribution. Michelle had a very hard time during the first year of school. Without any guidance, he had to rely on himself for everything. He often took his 2 children to various cities to give lectures. When he was busy, he could only rely on fast food to satisfy his hunger. After talking all day, my voice became hoarse and I couldn't speak. But other politicians and the media still relentlessly attacked and ridiculed Michelle's appearance. He said he looked like a monkey, was rude and had no temperament, and punched like a terrorist. These harsh words made Michelle very hurt. But for her husband's career and dream, he still actively traveled to various speech venues, and finally won the vote-seeking competition with thunderous applause. Let Michelle follow Obama all the way into the White House. Fast food restaurants covering the United States, coupled with a high-calorie and high-fat diet, have led to a high rate of obesity in the United States. 1 in 3 children in the United States is overweight or obese. More and more children are developing high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. More than a quarter of young people aged 17 to 24 are unable to serve in the military because they are overweight. As the president's wife, Michelle not only pays attention to her family's diet, but also cares about the health of the United States. When Michelle first entered the White House, she was excited when she saw the unused vegetable garden inside. He decided to use death as a breakthrough to inspire Americans to put healthy food on their tables. He rolled up his sleeves and put on his gloves to cultivate the unused vegetable garden one by one and plant spinach, cucumbers, green peppers and other green vegetables. From time to time, he invited students to the White House to pick vegetables together. Their hands were covered with soil, and they cultivated and harvested together to enjoy fresh ingredients. In these fun activities, children learn to recognize what vegetables look like before they are served on the table. Many American families have been affected by this and have begun to pay more attention to their own diet. In order to help children regain their health, Michelle launched the Let's Move campaign in 2010 after the White House kitchen garden. This campaign aims to mobilize everyone to contribute their part in helping children live healthier lives. Compared with other first ladies who are aloof, Michelle appears to be more confident and approachable. In July 2016, he participated in a carpool karaoke show and sang 4 popular songs with a rapper in the car, causing the host to yell and watch. "This is our coolest first lady." And on The Ellen Show, he performed the most popular dance, All the instructors from the Dancing with the Stars show were there to dance with him. When faced with doubts from others, he only said that if anyone tells you that you are not good enough, you are not good enough. I hope you don't listen. It's that kind of confidence that goes in and takes time to prove them wrong. Not only did Obama love him, but he also won the hearts of the American people. The London Post reported that Obama said after his 2010 State of the Union speech that if you were to list the 100 most popular things I did as president, marrying Michelle would be number one. He beat Angelina Jolie and Oprah to become world's most admired woman in 2019 poll. In 2018, Michelle's autobiography sold 72 copies in the United States on the first day it was released. 50,000 copies. Global sales exceeded 5 million copies in 1 month. And has always topped the best-selling novel list on Amazon in the United States. This book also made Michelle surpass J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, to become the most popular author on Amazon in the United States. In addition to recording his growth experience, he also wrote these words at the end: "Becoming does not mean that you have to reach a certain position or achieve a certain goal. On the contrary, I think becoming should be a state of progress, a way of evolution, and a way of constantly striving towards a more perfect self. This road has no end." Finally, we return to the florist owner's praise. Michelle is so lucky. But not because he married the president, but because he can become the president. Because a night sky that can raise stars will surely delay countless sunsets.